Hazardous phrase, log 2241. Ride your boyfriend like a horse. The phrase, ride your boyfriend like a horse, which cannot be here in its true form due to contagion risk, causes extreme delusions and mania in subjects who are exposed to it. Patients who hear or read this phrase will suddenly be overwhelmed with a compulsion desire to complete this task, riding your boyfriend like a horse. This overrides the subject's need to do anything else, including eating and sleeping, until they are satisfied their main wish has been fulfilled. Any attempt to stop them from completing this or restraining them is met with extreme sadness and aggression. Any attempt to talk them out of it or cure them of delusion is also met with a similar response. Patient logs. Number 1. Patient 0 is a 33-year-old Caucasian woman who is believed to be the originator of the phrase and first to come under its influence. After recovery, she was able to give an account of writing the phrase first in her personal diary before becoming overwhelmed by its effects. Fortunately, her ordeal was quickly dealt with after pushing her boyfriend to the ground and riding on his back. This is considered the least harmful incident to date. Number 2. Alyain was the head researcher of the case of Patient 0. It is believed he became infected after reading the phrase in the original diary. Not much is known about his experience, other than what can be deduced from the events that followed. Alyain came home to his wife at 7 p.m. No co-workers had reported any unusual behavior during the day up until him leaving work at 6 p.m. Next-door neighbors recalled hearing screams at 7:03. Alyain killed his wife with a kitchen knife, seemingly on sight. Her throat was cut, and her body left on the floor where she had fallen for a further 11 days until she was found by police. Researchers believe Alyain viewed his wife as the first obstacle standing in the way of acquiring a boyfriend to, quote, ride like a horse. He had spent the next 11 days after the murder in his room, signing up to 10 gay dating apps and making 490 profiles. He had not eaten during this period. On recovery of the patient by police, he was handed over to and then executed by researchers. Number 3. Claire was the second research assistant who had first come into contact with the phrase in the incident log reports following Alyain's death. This accidental contagion happened after the files had already been scrubbed of any hazards and examples by the phrase, being replaced by the harmless, ride your boyfriend like a horse. It's believed a technical glitch during the file backup caused an autocorrect software to activate. This changed the phrase back to its original spelling, with O's instead of zeros. The effect of the phrase was hazardous once again, causing Claire to attempt to ride her boyfriend like a horse. Co-researchers noticed unusual behavior after her work on the Alyain files and alerted security. 20 minutes later, Claire was spotted in a nearby park, assaulting an elderly man who she claimed had, quote, refused to begin dating her. Researchers were forced to execute her and 3 nearby witnesses. 4. Adrienne was the last known infected subject before containment of the hazardous phrase. She was discovered 9 months after the initial Patient 0 event. It is suggested she secretly read the diary of Patient 0, as they had been sharing an apartment. The following account of the subject's actions come from interviews with friends and forensics analysis. Adrienne firstly made efforts to divorce her husband, although this relationship appeared to remain strong and continue. Her husband at this point could be considered her boyfriend instead. After the couple moved to the countryside, they were not heard from, and her friends report a severing of all contact. It was only after 9 months that researchers discovered the oversight of not interviewing Adrienne during preliminary investigation into Patient 0 case. She was tracked down, and the couple's new home in the country was found. Field agent logs from inside the house describe the mutilation and deformities inflicted on the boyfriend. His body was recovered from a locked basement, where he had been kept in a large cage. The body was suspended by a ceiling harness, and his back was equipped with a saddle bound by rope. Bones in the arms and legs were shattered, causing the limbs to rest on the floor, mimicking a horse's 4 legs. His jaw was dislocated, and the face and eyes were disfigured with plastic surgery, making his face crudely resemble a horse's. Psychological examiners suggest Adrienne had forced him into this position so he looked like a horse before she rode him. Bruises show she had ridden the saddle on his back until his death. Her body was also recovered in the house, hung by the neck. This is a breakthrough case as it implies the hazardous phrase, "ride your boyfriend like a horse," can be interpreted differently by subjects, even within their delusional minds. These files will be continually updated as more work is conducted, and new human test subjects begins, starting with controlled exposures.
Hey there once again, kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and I just wanted to give you a big thank you for watching tonight's video. If you guys ever wanted to help support the show, you can always do so if you watch the show on youtube.com/MrCreepyPasta or find the MrCreepyPasta Storytime podcast on iTunes, on Google Play, and on Spotify. And also, if you ever want to check out my wife's tea shop, it's etsy.com/ivorymonocletea, where she sells hand-blended herbal teas in the theme of Dungeons & Dragons and Harry Potter and Final Fantasy and the like. You can find the link for it, as well as many, many, many other links in the description down below. And, drumroll please, a big, big, big thank you to everybody supporting me at patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta. People such as Taysia-lynn, Genobaga-Arneho, Daniel Poulsen, Trace Miles, Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Wayne Milstead, Dr. Strawberry, Champinski, Ken Lando Higuchi, Brianna Tine-Janzen, Nicholas Saeid Alyain, Buddy Burroughs, Stephen Van Huss, Kai Albertson, Goonington, G-Weevil3, Chance Burnett, Diane Kraus, Asia, Gabrielle de Baca, TheRedOakShieldVirus, Sindee Barney, Titty Connoisseur, really? Titty Connoisseur? Melissa Swegart, Dante Rao, Last Blade Song, Cross Rights, The Ginger Bros, Eliminator 86, Andrew Steinberg, Jason Sistma, Holy Realm, and Rafael Rodriguez. Thank you so much to you guys out there on Patreon, to all of you listening to either the podcast or the YouTube show. And that is everything, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and sweet dreams.